Okay, just perfect. Bitcoin finding its first major resistance after breaking out on January 14th, right in this area that we talked about in last night's video, breaking above 9,000, even almost up to 9,200 very shortly, as you can see here, but then facing a very quick rejection, actually in the matter of minutes. Why did it fall back down? We'll talk about that in this episode. As well, Bitcoin actually holding on yet again, the most bullish of these parallel lines again currently. However, by the time this video gets uploaded, that might not be the case. Where the pullback to remain bullish still could go, that we have to take a look at in this video as well, that's actually below this key line, that actually is exactly what happened last time on this key line. So we'll talk about that percentage drop as well. Back in a key Fibonacci area, guys, so much to talk about in this episode. First, let me play you this short clip from last night's video. I think it's possible and likely that we break through this, but guys, I want to draw your attention to the fact that the altcoins are clearly having some sort of a pullback. And again, Litecoin and some of these other coins definitely provide a hint to what the market wants to do overall and what Bitcoin wants to do overall. So again, guys, as I was saying a few days ago, I do think a pullback would be much more healthy and much more necessary. Wow, okay, now that was pretty epic. Let's get into the video. Wow, guys, thank you so much for joining me in this episode. I'm gonna try and make this one quick because I'm not totally sure what happened to this shirt, but it is extremely tight. I don't know if I had it in the dryer for too long, but it's unbearable. My armpits are actually getting stabbed by how tight these are. This will be the last time I wear this shirt. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to throw this away or donate it to my elves in my dungeon. Guys, so much to get into in this video. And in fact, there actually is a quick little announcement that I wanna mention before we jump into the usual. Guys, if you go onto my Twitter, the pinned tweet here, we have until tonight. I'm gonna do it later tonight. I decided, just all you have to do to enter to get this sealed treasure is retweet this tweet. That's all you have to do. I'm gonna leave it in the pinned comments below. And then I'm gonna post a video on Twitter showing who the winner is. Probably gonna have about 6 or 7 hours from now to enter until we do the giveaway. And whoever wins, I'll follow and then DM so that you guys can definitely message me about getting this sent out to you. And as well, of course, we are still doing the giveaway for the ledgers on this channel, and all you have to do to enter these is leave a comment below. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, ding the bell, and let's get into this episode. So absolutely, this is perfect, guys. We've been talking about a pullback, actually, I think for about 3 days. Okay, and we did breach 9,000 briefly, and then we got this pullback. You saw it was a pretty big, substantial pullback, about like $600. And I think on the minute chart, we can actually take a look here. I think it actually happened over the period of like 3 minutes. Yeah, look at this. 1, 2, 3. So going from 9,000 to 8,597, and then 8,451 in about 5 minutes. So this entire dump was about a 5-minute period here. So guys, we can start off here, but there are some key things we need to talk about on the daily chart that are absolutely very important. So you see we've got its first bounce here, okay, right around the $8,400 level, and we're going to transition to the daily chart to show you why it bounced here. There's not really a clear reason why on this chart, this is the 30-minute chart, but we'll show it on the daily chart why it bounced here. But as well, you can see the massive drop going completely from 9170 down past this entire ascending channel and this triangle that was forming. And now we're actually forming another pattern. It's very, very early on, so it should be interesting to see. But again, I don't think we're going to be in whatever this pattern is for very long, and that's because of what I'm going to show you on the daily chart, guys. So first of all, let's look at this. We talked about this channel in yesterday's video about how it is just a large area of friction. And you can see if we zoom in here, we did not spend a lot of time in here, okay? You can see these wicks did go above here, and they immediately kind of got rejected over the last few days. Every time it tried to get into this area and got a big pullback. Now, why is that pullback substantial? What is this area here? And we're gonna take a look at that on this chart and why that's so important. But as well, guys, keep in mind the 200-day moving average, not the EMA, but the MA right here. Again, I think that played a role as well as the fact this was just a muddy area right here. So we kind of have two targets. Okay, and for that we'll transition to this. So right now, as I'm making this, have no promises by the time it gets uploaded, but right now this is really nice to look at because, these parallel lines that we've been watching on this channel, right now we're pretty much hugging right on that parallel line, trying to find some support. We went down to the 8450 area, bounced right back up, okay? 8450 was on this chart, that's right about here. Okay, you see it immediately bounced back up, and this 30-minute candle was extremely quick. It was actually only a few minutes, but it'll show it like that on the 30-minute chart. Bounced back up to here. So what happened last time? Because actually something very similar happened last time on this first parallel channel. So you can see it did wick down after about, I think it was like 5 days, and currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is on the 6th day that it's coming to test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it was on the 5th day back here Sorry, so it was on the 5th day right here, okay? We had that, we wicked back up, the daily candle closed above it, and currently, the day isn't over yet, so we'll see if this daily candle closes above or below. That's gonna be important there. But we closed above it, and then you see what happened, okay, guys? Also, keep in mind, the 200 EMA and the 21 EMA still right about to cross. You can see that right here, very important and key to watch. But I also wanna draw your attention to this. So from the top of this move, from the top of this channel, down to the bottom, where it did bounce was about 9.5%, you guys. And currently, where we found the top of this so far, 91.87, the high from last night, to where a 10% pullback would actually be right down, about 9.5% pullback would be right down to this 8,200, okay guys? So the main target we could see is if this doesn't hold up, because it doesn't necessarily look like it will now, I think this is a really good target area to remain extremely bullish if we get a pullback down to this area. So guys, keep in mind, that's another 400 US dollars that Bitcoin could pull back in a very short time period, and we would still remain extremely bullish if we would find support there and bounce. Keep in mind, it's also right above this area right here. It's above this structural pattern here as well. So again, guys, this is the ultimate target we're looking for in the short term to remain very bullish. So basically what I'm saying is we can still be extremely optimistic in the short term, midterm, and long term if we get a pullback another like $400-500 down to here. Even actually going down and testing this for support down to about the 81.50 or so, and then bouncing back up to try and get back above this channel. Sorry, this parallel line, the middle of this channel of these 3 parallel lines. So absolutely really important. And another thing, look at this, guys. Another thing on the daily chart right here, if we take from the high right here, if we take from basically the high here, which is also major support right around this $9,500 level, okay, we take the fib retrace and we put it down to the lows of that inverse head and shoulders. The golden pocket, the 0.65, the 0.618, this is the area of support as well. And you can see that's exactly where Bitcoin bounced as well. So again, a lot of things going on in this area, so much key things going on. And what does all this mean? If we continue here and we get a nice bounce here, then we can continue and go up to test the top of this channel. Potentially, I think that's where we'll really go. And then 10K is only footsteps away, boys and girls. We'll be so close at that point. Okay, so that is basically bullish, most bullish scenario. And I state that because the most bullish scenario in the short term does include another $400 or $500 pullback. Okay, guys, what do we say? What do we say when there's pumps, there's dumps, and when there's dumps, there's pumps? It's part of the market. We saw it just last week when we had this consolidation. We saw it during this inverse head and shoulders. We see it all the time. So if we get a continued pullback here, again, guys, still a very bullish setup to keep an eye on. Guys, and as well, look at this. We're getting altcoins continued to pull back a little bit. So that's why I do think we'll see a continued pullback for the next day or so. But as well, this is good for another reason. It is the weekend. It's currently the weekend. And if we get the CME gap, as close as possible to not having pumps on the weekend, that's really the goal, is to not have pumps primarily on the weekend, because we did have some nice moves this weekend and we don't really want that. We kind of prefer if we get moves and a lot of good setups during the week, 5 days compared to 2 days. Hopefully that's more manageable. So definitely important to watch there, because right now we're just again in this key zone right here. This whole area right here is absolutely critical. I think the 82, 81 is the lowest we can go in the very, very short term to remain extremely bullish. And there are still bullish scenarios if we do go below that, but right now that's what we're keeping an eye on. But again, guys, we do have to note this is also a possibility that we could stay and hold where we currently are. Okay, that's very similar to what happened last time. However, from the top of this channel to the bottom of it was 10%. And from the top of where we reached last night, we didn't, and to where we wicked down to this morning, it's not been 10%. It's been about 7. Not saying it has to be exactly 10%. But if we see continued pullback down to this 82-ish area and even down to these EMAs, again, I do think that is completely still in the same ballpark of the healthy move there. Now, if we would come back down and test this channel again, that's when things start to get a little more fishy, okay? However, this line is ascending, and it does, as time goes on, start to come up and meet with these lines as well. So as more time goes on, it's all based on how long this takes to play out. But so far, things are looking really good, guys. Really exciting to see what's going on. And as well, I do want to show you guys this. This is the CME futures gap. You can see we talked about this, I believe, in yesterday's video or the day before. This gap is crucial. Remember, this closed here. And currently, we're actually right about here compared to the other charts. So we'll see it open right about here, guys. So that, again, could be a bullish sign. This wasn't the last gap, but it was a very key, important one. Remember, this goes all the way back to October 23rd, right before the big dump. Really interesting, really important to keep an eye on. And guys, again, just got to keep an eye on alts because we do see alts kind of lagging behind, kind of dipping. And remember, they can play a huge role in anticipating and trying to see what to expect for Bitcoin and the rest of the market. Markets have been absolutely wonderful. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to head on over to Twitter, pin comments below. We're going to do that giveaway and probably before maybe like 10 p.m. or so tonight. We're going to do it pretty early. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.